Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day and had a wonderful weekend. Taking a look here at Bitcoin, looking pretty strong here in the overall sense, obviously pulling back after it pumped up here to sweep some extra liquidation in the upper range, about 64,750. At this point, we are still range bound within this channel. That's a very, very good sign because the longer we spend here, the more likely we are to break to the upside, being somewhat of a bullish rectangle. If you saw my recent post or more so video, however you look at it, we were talking about a bullish rectangle pattern being very much a potential reality here for us here. So again, bullish rectangle looking pretty strong. It's available in our Discord too. I got a lot of different chart patterns and things available for you there. If you want to join up, cryptocash.tech is a site, link down below. Feel free to join over there. We actually took some really healthy profits on Near Protocol. 48% in 24 hours, well, 24 to 48 hours rather. It was a good profitable trade there. Little lag on the weekend, and then Bitcoin ramped up a little bit, and Near Protocol has not looked back. So awesome stuff there. It was kind of a standard bull flag breakout. Okay, so take a look here at Bitcoin. Let's look at liquidation levels first and kind of understand where we're at. Before we get started, hey, hit the like button, folks. Absolutely appreciate that. Helps grow the channel. And also, welcome to a lot of new members. We got quite a few hundred, which is unusual, new subscribers over the weekend. So awesome stuff. Welcome on board. Absolutely happy to have you. Let's take a look at liquidation first. We always like to look at that, just kind of help get a baseline on what's going on with shorts versus longs, support and resistance levels. Generally speaking, you're going to see liquidation events occur just above most recent and lower, above and below candle wicks that are present on the chart. So we obviously saw the candle wick to 64.7. We can see a lot of late shorts there currently in profit. We got some early longs here at about 62,200 that still have potential to get swept here. But the key takeaway is that we're kind of in the middle of that range. And that's why range-bound activity is generally construed as volatile, because once it breaks that specific resistance or support level, it's more likely to continue in that direction. Okay, now we gotta test the upper level. Strong chance we see further upside because of that, because we're honoring our ascending trend line. There's a lot of bullish factors present still. We can also recognize too, if we zoom into our 1 month liquidation range here, we can kind of see that there is every one of these red and orange bars is somewhere between $7 to $10 billion. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's a lot of liquidation there, folks. I'll count it up later and essentially post that on our playout chart as per usual. That is available on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. So if you're not familiar, it looks a little something like this here, where I talk a little bit about coins that I plan to take trades with. Near Protocol was one of those, of course. Again, hindsight's 2020, obviously, but generally speaking, there's a lot of reasons why altcoins are more likely to continue further up right now. Mainly because Bitcoin dominance is so ridiculously high that it's just kind of par for the course, right? So again, Bitcoin dominance coming down, alts going up, standard procedure, especially with Bitcoin being range bound. This is perfect in a lot of ways. Let's quickly check and see if we had any CME gaps over the weekend. And I mean, super tiny one here. There was a fair value gap, of course, between 61K and about 62K as a rough estimate. So just keep in mind that as potential pull back to that 62K range, but 62,000 is a pretty strong support level. So I wouldn't be surprised if that were to be revisited, that would be a solid little area for the price action to continue higher. I would love to see 61 to 62K, because then I would be more than happy to take a long at that level. I'm okay with taking a long now. I just want to double check a few things first. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the weekly and work our way down now that we have finished and or closed a weekly candle. Now let's go ahead and go with a cleaner chart and just verify here where we're at. See, we keep retesting this 0.618 macro fib. That is a good sign. Okay, we've tested once, twice, 3, almost 4 times. Okay, now the more often you test something, the more likely it is to break. Okay, the same thing happens with fib levels too. 0.618 being one of those stronger kind of magnetic areas here. So if we zoom in a little bit, let's go ahead and double check the local point of control, or sorry, not local, but it's the macro point of control rather. We can see ever since March, the point of control is 63,000 even. Okay, that pretty much tells us we're in very good shape here, having closed above that. Same thing with the 20-day SMA too. That's a very good sign. So I would say we're, for the most part, in a pretty good position here. We can also see stochastic holding strong, showing we have good momentum. We're over 50 on the RSI. These are really good signs here compared to a couple of weeks ago when we were pretty much breaking bearish. So this doesn't necessarily mean you take longs to the moon, but it implies the macro is shifting its sentiment, which is extremely beneficial. So that's a very good sign on the weekly. Taking a look at the daily here, let's go ahead and take a quick peek and see where we're at here with some specific local areas here. We can see 0.618 was never tested or hasn't been tested yet. Shouldn't say never. We could very well be in the beginning of a cup and handle pattern, right? That could very well be the case. So if Bitcoin starts to channel down in a flag type of pattern, then we want to consider buying one of those dips, okay? Between now and then, we want to probably be patient and try to wait, but also consider, I would say more so just longs versus shorts. Not necessarily with Bitcoin, but in general, with most coins, we're more likely to see further upside. Again, that's as of right now. Keep in mind, Bitcoin pulled back a little bit with this doji candle, and a lot of altcoins kind of had this knee-jerk reaction down. So I'm not proposing by any stretch you just go long on every altcoin. There's some outliers, but for the most part, the concept remains true right now, where alts are more likely to pump versus dump at this exact moment. I think that'll change, of course. We got to see how today's candlestick closes and how alts respond to that. But let's look at the daily and see here where we got our second stochastic swing to the downside. That's generally unfavorable. Lets us know we potentially have further downside. We can also see our money flow index is topped out, somewhat shifting down. RSI also in a sweet spot. We can see our trend strength indicators looking pretty good, and then of course we're losing some momentum on our MACD. So those are all just standard normal things. Nothing super outrageous here. If we take a look at our moving averages, I think that's probably the important thing. We've rejected 1, 2, 3, almost 4 out of 5 of the last trading days at the 200 SMA. So that implies we have a strong resistance there, but it also implies that we're more likely to break because we keep knocking on that door. So again, another couple days we stay in this range, I'm pretty confident we're going to see a break to the upside, just based on the simple nature of, when you start from the bottom, you move up, you work into a channel, it continues higher. That's generally how most, flag patterns, any kind of pattern is going to have that momentous scenario, okay? Because right now the bears just keep losing, they're losing steam slowly and surely, right? But again, we got to see here, obviously the bulls could be losing steam as well, so it's hard to tell. But 4-hour time frame might be a little indicative here. Let's see what's going on here. First of all, above all moving averages, still, we're over the 20, which is great. My important thing is the 50 right now, just because that's running concurrent with the ascending trend. So as long as we maintain above the trend line, we should be in good shape. I'm not proposing that if we drop down below that trend line, it's over. I'm just saying that that would be something we want to be a little bit more cautious about. Between now and then, you should be more long bias versus short bias. When we take a look here, we can see that stochastic RSI is swinging down. That's pretty natural. We're still over 50 in the RSI, which is good. So holding that level would be great. Again, maintaining this range is essentially the important thing. If we break below the range, we could be breaking bearish, and we might see further continuation down to that 62, 61K mark to fill that fair value gap that was formed over the weekend. We can see our TSI is looking okay. It's not bad. Same thing with the MACD, still diverging. But once more, if you see a MACD diverging like it is and you remain range bound, all the more reason the price will be more likely to swing up than down. Okay. So again, this is generally a favorable sign. So still, the daily, the weekly, and the 4-hour are giving us pretty good indications that we're still in great shape. We look at the hourly. This is obviously going to tell us a different story, especially when you go range bound. The Ichimoku cloud can be faulty at best on a range-bound scenario. In other words, when you break above and below moving averages consistently, it's hard to really get a read on smaller time frames what's going to happen next, at least from a swing trader's perspective. And if I was day trading, I'd look at the 15-minute chart and I would address a few things. I'd probably use my CC Golden Indicator and a few other just rudimentary indicators. RSI and SMAs are probably the best ones for that. Try not to overcomplicate it. And essentially at this point, though, there's not a ton of indication that we're going to break up or down or move in either direction right now. The thing we got to recognize, though, is that we have somewhat established higher lows and higher highs here. So we want to see if that continues. So we have a short-term trend here, but the overall sense here is that this is not like a super indicative hourly time frame telling us we're going to be able to break out or break down. We do have our local point of control here in the last 24 hours, under 24 hours at 63.5. So this basically tells us so far the bears are controlling this price action, but that doesn't necessarily mean the price is going to drop. We see the overall point of control for the weekend is somewhere in the 62.8 to 63.6. Sorry, 63.2. So the simple way to understand this is breaking below this local point of control can be potentially bearish. So once more, as per usual, if we break below this trend line here, or this local channel, then we might expect the price to continue further down. If we do lose that, I would say somewhere in the range of 60.5, 60, 60,000 could be a retest, right? And I'd be more than happy to take it along and be in the 60 to 61K range personally. Once more, don't always get what we want, but that's essentially what we're looking for. All right, so that's kind of what we got. Again, overall sentiment is still very good. What I'll do is I'll post our playout chart here on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. I'll clean up the charts here a little bit. Not too much needs to happen. Just be mindful, we do still have this fair value gap down below the price action, and that if we lose this this lower support range, we could very well see further downside, but it makes less sense for that to happen. It would make more sense for the price to go up than down, just based on everything we've seen here so far. Again, you add everything together and the odds of success are greater going up than down. That's just my personal feeling here at this point. That's just kind of what we're seeing on the charts. But again, totally wrong. I mean, I only get things right like 70-80% of the time. There's so much chance left up to the game. It's who knows really at this point. But anyways, that's kind of where we're at. I hope that makes sense and I described that correctly. Thanks again for being an awesome part of my life. Don't forget to hit the like button, comment below, check out our sponsors down below too. We got some awesome exchanges we're partnered with, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thanks again so much for your time. See you soon. Take care.